On this spot, on January 9th, 2018, a local science gang known as the Test Tube Babes attempted a radical and violent incursion into the room which waits, a potentially sentient mobile space where time ceases to function in any regular way. The operation ended in catastrophic failure, resulting in the total loss of life. The room which waits remains active in this area, continuing to ensnare local commuters and the rudely impatient.
I probably will look at the things just to make sure.
That's the lost souls room. Death for the dead.
File 340B. Subject, the room which waits, attempted incursion. Date, January 09, 2018. One. Introduction. Once upon a time,
the room which waits, also referred to as the waiting room without end, WRWE01, is a transiently liminal space appearing sporadically throughout Vancouver's downtown east side. Described as a simple lobby space, complete with semi-comfortable plastic chairs, checkerboard patterned carpeting, and heavily textured wallpapers, the internal measurements clearly indicate a volume of no larger than 32 cubic meters, with those measurements being corroborated by governmental LiDAR scans. However, the space nevertheless manages to maintain a resting populace of anywhere from 6 to upwards of 200 separate individuals at any time. Occupants often appear somewhat confused and/or agitated, yet remain in an emotionally placid state, which prevents them from responding to any impulses which might compel them to get up out of their chairs and begin demanding explanations. Environmental details include the milk tank, the painting on the wall, magazines. Residents include faceless suits, the receptionist, janitorial staff, Mr. Blobbyface Baby Eater.
Two. Environmental details. Don't be scared. Environmental detail A1, the milk tank.
The predominant attraction within the room is a large rectangular glass vessel, measuring approximately 2 by 4 by 1 meters, filled with a densely opaque milk-like fluid and containing an unidentified living organism. This creature, or whatever it is, which is almost entirely obscured by the coloration of the milk, is of an unknown species or genus. What limited visuals can be obtained suggest an uncomfortably large creature, which appears squid-like or perhaps octopoid, with an unusually high quantity of optical appendages. While some viewers have stated that the creature possesses specific traits which would suggest the presence of arachnid genetics, these claims are as of yet unverified. The exact purpose of the tank is unknown and heavily theorized. While it may just be an aesthetic touch, others suspect the creature within the tank may be the true mastermind of all localized weirdness. Another theory suggests the creature may be some form of dream parasite, feeding off the subconscious imagery of those present in the room which waits.
Environmental document A2, the painting on the wall.
There is a painting on the wall of a large group of people assembled at a public park in what appears to be the mid-1920s North America. While the image appears at first idyllic, closer examinations reveal a scenario fraught with anxiety and visual discrepancies. Children with malformed mouths, birds with irritable skin conditions, shambling monstrosities lost far from home, now dressed as simple travelers. Portions of the painting, sectors A9D13, N15Q23, X12Z19, have been blacked out, seemingly censored by an unknown party and for unknown reasons. The painting has been compared to Georges Seurat's A Sunday Afternoon on the island of La Grande Jatte, Hieronymus Bosch's Hell, and a series of untitled paintings by Zdzisław Beksiński, the latter of whom claimed to have visited a Polish version of the room which waits, Pokój wołokry czekanie nie ma końca ani celu, in a series of nightmarish dreams experienced throughout the mid-1970s.
Environmental document A3 magazines.
Magazines manifest freely throughout the room which waits. These include, but are not limited to,
Sand Fancier Digest, the monthly booklet dedicated to all things sand-related, Newly Dead Digest, a veritable who's who of the recently deceased, Cookie Crumblers, for people who prefer to crush sweets in their hands rather than consuming orally, Void Users, a comprehensive look at all the latest news about empty spaces, Missing Hiker Monthly, a constantly updating collection of photos of people who became lost in the woods, Gravel Chewers Monthly, for fans of the sensation of chewing rocks in one's mouth, Meat Home Companion, tips for integrating raw organic tissue into common domestic environments.
Three residents. Take a deep breath. Trust me, it's going to be okay.
Not all residents of the endless waiting room appear entirely human, and some are clearly anything but. Studies suggest that prolonged exposure to the philosophical natures of these entities has the potential to cause advanced cerebral mutations in pre-adolescent and elderly victims.
Resident Class B1, the faceless suits.
So, are instances of the phenomenon colloquially referred to as faceless suits manifest in the form of disembodied business attire, consisting of a shirt, tie, jacket, and matching trousers. These entities are frequently observed within the anomalous environment known as the room which waits. Subject behavior includes erratic locomotion, the emission of sustained low-frequency vocalizations of indeterminate origin, and tactile exploration of the surrounding area, utilizing the empty sleeves of their upper garments in lieu of appendages. Documented behavior includes the consumption of standard office materials, e.g. staplers, paper products, writing implements, as well as periodic interaction with civilian individuals. In certain cases, the entities have exhibited coercive or manipulative conduct, resulting in the forced integration of an individual into the interior of the suit structure. This event initiates a distinct and poorly understood process of biological transformation, Upon completion of said process, the resulting composite organism, hereafter referred to as a business being, is released into non-anomalous space, demonstrating autonomous mobility and apparent functional cognition. These business beings exist for only a few days, like butterflies, and similar to butterflies, spend most of their time on this earth flickering wildly between resource hubs, attempting to set up important deals, coordinating acquisitions and mergers, until their brief lives conclude with a pile of rumpled clothing left smoldering on a city bench.
Resident Class B3, the receptionist.
The receptionist is a cold, calculating creature known to irritably snap the fingers and larger limbs off the bodies of any waiters bold enough to approach her alcove. Her face is hidden behind a thin plastic mask, which depicts a cartoonishly pleasant visage, its mouth permanently twisted into a mocking smile of complacency, while the true face that lurks behind the mask is clearly overfilled with multiple rows of twisted, oversized teeth of an overly numerous quantity, similar to the multi-layered dentine dispersal of certain deep-sea predators. Herself
Resident Class B4, janitorial staff.
Friendly, helpful, lethally dull. The janitorial staff is composed of two separate entities, described as a father and son team of hillbillies, offering asinine advice to waiters who are foolish enough to ask for it.
Or March 16th, 2018, attempted incursion. Close your eyes if you get scared.
On March 16th, 2018, a team of renegade female scientists, known locally as the Test Tube Babes, attempted to open a rupture in the molecular fabric of the local space-time continuum so as to gain access to the waiting room without end. This incursion was only partially successful, and the resulting orifice wound up swallowing the entire gang, as well as the assembled equipment used to create the opening. While there were no known survivors, existing evidence suggests that the team or gang was hoping to channel the indeterminate spatial region of the waiting room without end into a form of energy, using a unique form of metastasis fusion, potentially resulting in a near limitless source of weaponizable radiation.
Five, interview.
We can't keep it open. It won't let us.
6, victims. Aren't we all?
While it is not entirely understood how the room which waits ensnares its victims, it has been calculated to have an annual body count of anywhere from 16 to 32 people. So like 2 to 6 people a month. Wait, that can't be right. And that's just counting the ones who don't come back. When you include those citizens who merely find themselves trapped in the space and then returned after a confusing elapsement of time, the number of victims grows exponentially. The phenomenon appears to target individuals during periods of impatient waiting in public spaces, with available evidence suggesting manifestation occurs at the point when the subject/victim begins to exhibit mild dissociative responses to their environment. The wallpaper slowly focuses into views. The carpeting grows up out of the floor. The chair subtly morphs its shape until suddenly the person sitting in the chair notices that they've become part of a row which is both narrowly finite and caustically infinite. It's a small room, really, but it goes on forever.
Seven. Concluding thoughts.
The room waits. But what does it wait for? What are we waiting for? What am I waiting for? Look around yourself. We all see it. The world is fragmenting. We went too meta, became too self-aware. Now all of our technology, our media, is just a mirror. And when we look into it, what we see looking back is disappointed. Maybe we're disappointed in what we see. Maybe our reflections are disappointed in us. When I was a boy, some of us still trusted the actors that read the news at night. Now we're adrift in a fog of, shit. Fuck this narcissistic nihilism. I'm drowning in the stuff. I tried to get into the room which waits. I couldn't get in, I was locked out. I couldn't get into the red-walled church. I think about that place a lot. I wonder about the people who went in and never came back out, except for those whose bodies were folded into books of bone. I wish I was part of this mystery, instead of just reporting on it. Nobody's listening to what I have to say.